What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with a surprise, which is to say big shout out to friend of the channel, longtime personal friend and patron, Chris, up from Alaska. He and I have talked about music and movies and TV shows for many, many years, and one of the things that we've done in recent years is send each other some music and shows and media of different sorts. And for a Christmas/birthday/New Year's present, he sent me a couple different things, including a double LP of an originally 2005 album, though I believe this is a 2024 repress, for an artist who unfortunately passed away, I think in a car accident. That's what I read on Discogs. But he goes by the name Nujabes, and apparently it's his name, he's Japanese, in reverse. His real name was Seba Jun-san, and so Seba Jun backward is Nujabes. But yes, it's an album called Modal Soul. Now, I don't know any of his work, but when I did look up some information on Discogs, it suggests that a lot of his tunes are in this down-tempo, jazz-influenced, like cool jazz, I think is a phrase that's used. So, yes, experimental perhaps. So either way, I like all those things. Down-tempo music, people will know my ambient excursion mixes, which a lot of Sybient, or which feature a lot of Sybient. I'm very much into jazz, and also one of my favorite soundtracks is the soundtrack for Trigun, which features a lot of jazz-influenced score/down-tempo music. So if it's anything like those styles, I'm very intrigued. And in any case, I'm just happy to get some new vinyl, so big shout out to great friend Chris. And we'll open it here. I did notice, the reason I knew this had to be the 2024 repress is because it describes having an outer sleeve with like an open flap at the top, and that's exactly what this is. Apparently there's also an inner plastic sleeve. And yes, ultimately, as I said, this album is from 2005. I think it came out on Seba Jun's own label. And we'll just start from the beginning. The first track is called Feather, and apparently it's featuring Cise, maybe? It's C-I-S-E, Starr with 2 R's, and Akin. And apparently they're from C-Y-N-E, so yeah, don't know any of these artists, but apparently these two people, or maybe just the second person, it's a bit ambiguous. It could just be Akin from C-Y-N-E, though it could also be both people from C-Y-N-E. In any case, the track is called Feather, as I said, and we'll just get straight to it. So, with no further ado, this is the opening track on Modal Soul by Nujabes, originally from 2005, though this is, as I mentioned, the 2024 repress.
Light as a feather when I'm floating through, reading through the daily news, measuring the hurt within the golden rule. Centimeters in ether, I'm heating the speaker. Motivational teacher with words that burn people. Singing the headlines, line with discord. It's either genocide or the planet in uproar. Never good. The rules in paradise are never nice. The best laid plans of mice and men are never right. I'm just a vagabond with flowers for Algernon, an average Joe who knows what the fuck is going on. It's the hope of my thoughts that I travel upon, fly like an arrow of God until I'm gone. So drifting away like a feather in air, letting my words take me away from the hurt and despair. So I'm keeping it vertical, forever elevator, riding the escalator to the something that is greater. So I'm drifting away like a feather in air, letting my soul take me away from the hurt and despair. So I'm keeping it vertical, forever elevator, riding the escalator to the something that is greater.
Taking chances, word tap dancing with wolves in an ice arena out there deep in the woods of Arizona. The sun be out, life's ironic, ain't trying to be Dali when I write surreal life up painted vivid. Habitat crazy insane, watching propaganda 6 o'clock news and insane. Cultures clash, all black folk and white trash. They rebel in the cyberspace and might crash dash till millennium, a million miles are running at the speed of now, bound no return gunning. Rambo, now gun, hold child gunning. Handle, plow, 2 times loud, stunning. When they hit ya, lift you off the earth like, hey yo, take you right back to birth. And niggas wonder why, they might wonder why this shit might happen, but it does. It go
Drifting away like a feather in air, letting my words take me away from the hurt and despair. So I'm keeping it vertical, forever elevator, riding the escalator to the something that is greater. So I'm drifting away like a feather in air, letting my soul take me away from the hurt and despair. me to the levee, but the levee was dry. Singing this will be the day
Don
that I
McLean
die.
reference? What? Incredible. Oh, that was fantastic. I didn't realize we were going to get some hip hop. So apparently the two supporting artists were the two MCs in the track. Stylistically, it reminds me of like early Wu-Tang rhyming. Now the sonics were a bit different. Not to say that early Wu doesn't occasionally have, piano melodies in their tracks. Shout out, while we're on the subject, to RZA and his early Wu productions. But ultimately it feels a bit more like West Coast independent hip hop, like Visionaries or something like that. Or like, like Charlie Tuna's kind of stuff. Nevertheless, the point is, the beats have a very, like, independent label hip-hop sound. The rhyming reminds me, again, of, like, early Wu or some, like, East Coast hip-hop. So many references in there. We get a reference to the Flowers for Algernon story. We got a reference to Robbie Burns, The Best Laid Plans of Mice and Men, a Don McLean lyric. What was the... Oh yeah, Gift of Gab, the now deceased, unfortunately, MC from Blackalicious. So lots of cultural and musical references specifically, but also literature and poetry. So really fascinating rhymes. I do like both of the MC's voices. One of them almost reminded me a little bit of Deltron, from Del from the hieroglyphics. Deltron Taryn Jones is his real name. And yes, I really enjoy the flows. The melodies, very like light and breezy, floating like a feather, which certainly gives you an image, reminding me now of the sort of digital feather in Forrest Gump. But yes, like something that is going with the flow of its environment, but has its own rhythms and movements at the same time. So I like the reference to, going vertical in an elevator and riding an escalator, like going up, moving forward and on. So there seems to be some conceptual metaphors at play as well. But yes, ultimately down tempo and melodic like maybe I expected, and also jazzy, but not what I expected in terms of it actually being a hip hop track. So perhaps there will be more hip hop along the way, and that's not something I was thinking when I opened the album. So big shout out to Chris, you are massively appreciated. Shout out to all the folks who sent me physical media, that is greatly appreciated. Shout out to all the folks who are members on Patreon, like full paid members. Everyone who goes over there certainly has my thanks, but especially the paid members, you really do make a difference. So yeah, shout out to Vinyl Records, shout out to Chris. Let me know what you think of this. I will see you next time. Peace.